both of us. I wonder what will come of us. 'Cause now there's one less star in the city.
Can you hear me? Muting.
I've got something for you, and I can hardly breathe. Something draws me to you, it's taking over me. Don't know where you came from, but you're cutting deep. When the music's over, will you come with me? Tell me you can feel it, though we're oceans apart. I've got love for you, I've got love for you, and I know this magic sparks inside who we are. I've got love for you, I've got love for you. I've got love for you. I've got love for I was hoping you could fix these broken seams, floating through the puzzles and the endless screens. Well, I've got something for you, and it's cutting deep. Now the music's over, will you come with me? And tell me you can feel it, though we're oceans apart. I've got love for you, I've got love for you, and I know this magic sparks inside who we are. I've got love for you, I've got love for you. speakers loud in the radio, playing old Sublime that we stole our line, every verse we know. And we hadn't had a clue if we'd make it by noon or even where we'd go. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere. The tank said E and we all agree that we're just too broke to fill it back up, so we left your truck on the road with Rome. Then we found a motel with a cigarette smell, so we knew we're close. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. We don't need a map, everywhere is home. Is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. 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 We played Tupac, Chirac, and we turn our music up when he raps about hope. We hold our thumbs high and hope someone is kind enough to give us all a ride. And we wouldn't have a clue if we'd make it back to or even where we'd go. But we don't need a map, everywhere is home. A Ford stopped on the street, said where you trying to be. We said we don't really care, we'll know it when we're there. We took on down the road, he flipped on his radio, Santeria started slow, so we knew that we were close. Home is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. 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 Home is where I can find some peace of mind to make my own way. I don't know where I will end up, but I'll find it someday. Keep on searching, engine burning while we're turning it around. But don't get left behind on the road. You say you need a hero, someone to set you free. You say you need a hero, but don't put your faith in me. Don't put your faith in me. No. We all get lost sometimes, we all fall sometimes. The darkness in our hearts makes us shine like little stars. We are heroes. We are heroes. Heroes. We are heroes. We are heroes. Walking through dark lands, searching for a strong hand to take the reins and don't let go. But don't put your faith in me, 'cause I'm no hero. least not tonight. 'Cause we all get scared sometimes, we all fall sometimes. The darkness in our hearts makes us shine like little stars. We all get lost sometimes, we all fall sometimes. The darkness in our hearts makes us shine like little stars. We are heroes. We are heroes. Heroes. We are heroes. We are heroes. Heroes. We are heroes. Heroes. Say you hate the darkness, 'cause it's a lonely place. We all need the darkness, 'cause that's what makes us heroes. Makes us heroes every day. We are heroes. Heroes. We are heroes. I live 17 floors up, and when it rains I can feel those drops in my window pane. Lets me know that I'm still here. But when the sun comes out I will go outside. When it breaks through clouds I will give a smile. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And up, and when I cry I can see the city through my watered eyes. Lets me know that I'm still here. When my eyes clear up I will go outside. I'll imagine you're still by my side. Lets me know that I'm still here. Sometimes I want to run away, run away, to find good times again, to find all my old friends. Run away, to the nearest place where I'll find all my old friends. Good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And good times, I said good times, find my friends again. I said I wanna have good times, good times, find my friends again. And again. I said I wanna have good times, good times. Find my friends again. And I wake up early, I sleep alone. I try to find love from a stranger on my phone. My vision blurry, so I forget. Dying to hold you, but you left me here for dead. How could I do what I've done if I'm in love? You know I did what I did, you loaded the gun. And I don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. Yeah, I didn't mean to do it every day. I do it anyway. Messing with monsters up in my head. Lied to myself lying beside her in my bed. Paint over pictures you left behind. I'd punch the walls if it would make you change your mind. How could I do what I've done if I'm in love? You know I did what I did, you loaded the gun. And I don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. Yeah, I didn't mean to do it every day. I do it anyway.
Want your body around, all around, all around. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. We're taking off. Found you in all of the madness. I heard your voice in the static. Your skin on my skin like a magnet. I won't look down when we crash. I bought a one-way ticket to space. Let's get out of here. I hurt you, but it's nice this time of year. You turn my world on its axis.
A real clockwork soldier.
Generation Orange in 5, 4, 3, 2.
We're live.
Was that supposed to be some kind of hint that I'm supposed to start talking now?
Something around that.
Holy crap, it's been a busy, I don't know, what, are we now at 2.5, 3 weeks straight of just constantly running around like crazy?
Probably.
I'm losing track between work and where is my mouse pointer?
I don't know. You tell me.
No, seriously, my mouse pointer disappeared. You guys don't understand. This is really important tonight. What the heck? All right. Anyways, I don't. Edson, you broke me. All right. Anyways, I'm back. All right, I'm gonna get mouse pointer. Chrome crashed on me. Chrome never crashes. All Edson's fault. Blame Edson. Anyways, all right. So we have a packed show, but yeah, it's gonna be a show.
Look at your screen, Sean.
Which screen? Oh, the fact that you're wearing a Tigres kit. I mean, I expected that. If you didn't, I would have been more disappointed if you didn't. So, no. So
Blues wanted it. Blues wanted it. I delivered.
I mean, you know, to each their own. You know, you support you, Edson. It's all, We understand that you're not really a Dynamo fan, and that you're
Oh, don't start. Don't start. We've gone over this before. We've gone over this before many, many times.
And who will you be cheering for on Tuesday?
Well, if my credentials get here, I'm not going to be cheering for anybody.
No. That doesn't matter. Who are you cheering for on Tuesday? That's a cop out if there ever was one.
Oh, well, whoever goes through, I'm going to be happy.
Starbucks, where you can get your venti, ultra, caramel, frappuccino too. Caffeine, very needed today. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Lots of stuff. Lots and lots of stuff. We're going to talk. Shoot, I put this up on Twitter just recently, but we're going to talk Dynamo. We're going to talk CCL. We're going to talk Guastatoya. We're going to talk opening match Saturday. We're going to talk supporters groups, EBTA.
Plus, phone lines are open. Don't forget that.
Yes, and yes, phone lines are open. And I'm throwing it right now that if we get calls tonight, we're going 3. If nobody calls in, which in and of itself will be an incredibly sad thing, it will be very disappointing. But if we get calls tonight at all,
make it 3.
And I feel very strongly in saying we're going to go 3 regardless, because it's just going to be that kind of night. But look, I put it out on Twitter. I put it out on Twitter yesterday morning. I put it out on Twitter yesterday evening before the match. I put it out on Twitter this morning. If you went to either of the pregame, I'll call them parties, pregame parties, either at Pitch 25 for Texan Army or King's Court for El Batallon, we want you to call in. We want you to talk to us about what you thought, what your experience was like. Everybody experiences things differently, and we want your opinions. We want, we want your voice to be heard. And this is a great opportunity for that. And look, there were, 100-something people, it seemed like, at Pitch 25. And I know there were easily 50 to 75 over at King's Court. And really, honestly, probably as close to 100 as we're at Pitch 25. Now, don't get me wrong. Those numbers were not, didn't correlate necessarily into the stands in terms of people sitting or not sitting, but people in the TA section, as compared to the people sitting in El Batallon section. I think there were a lot of people that just pre-gamed at Pitch 25, which is totally fine, totally acceptable, totally allowed, and totally understandable. But I would like to see some of that transition over to Texan Army and El Batallon as well. But credit to El Batallon, they brought it last night for sure. As you guys have probably noticed, I'm a little hoarse. I yelled very loudly, repeatedly, especially the Morrow goals. I don't think I've screamed myself that much, like just getting it all out. So much pent up apprehension, so much pent up just exhaustion, and just frustrations over a lot of things, and seeing those goals in person, and being being where I was last night and getting to see those goals and just having the opportunity to just let it out, man. I honestly, truly 100% let it out. And it felt great. As Darby said, nobody actually needs sleep, right? And the answer to that is I clearly don't need sleep, but I do need Monster energy drinks. Just kidding. Trying real hard. No. But I mean, I'm sitting here with a Monster. I'm sitting here with a Starbucks drink as well. So I've been packing caffeine all day, just trying to keep my body running, because my mind at some point last night or this morning, little story, you guys would love this. So 9 o'clock rolls around. By the way, I work from home, so 9 o'clock sounds terrible, but wake up at 9 o'clock to my alarm going off, which was fine. Normally I wake up before my alarm, except that this morning I had a 9 o'clock meeting that I had to, like a call-in meeting that I had to be on, that I completely forgot about, and my phone did not alert me to beforehand. So get up at 9 o'clock, and my counterpart who was on that meeting was freaking out. And I'm like, hey, yeah, so, stuff happened, and here I am, and it's late. And they thankfully rescheduled, but I was like, that just sets my day off wonderfully. And it only got better from there. I don't know if you guys can see the bags under my eyes. It did not get better from there. It was pretty crazy. But you know what? We all did it. We are all here. We all survived. And you know what? Second verse, same as the first. Let's do it again on Tuesday. Let's repeat this. Let's go out there and sorry, Edson, I hate to say this, but let's go out there and kick Tigres' ass on our home soil, because you don't come into BBVA Compass Stadium and you don't walk away without bruises, without bleeding. And I don't mean the fans, I mean the players.
So you're telling me that you want the Dynamo to out CONCACAF. So you want
No. I want Kiki Struna and Minor Figueroa to out CONCACAF. I want Elise, Kyoto, and Morrow to score 15 goals on Tigres' happy asses, so that Tigres goes home with their legs tails between their legs, like the sorry little tiger cubs they are.
Ooh, those are strong words, Sean.
They are strong words.
Hey, let me finish. Hopefully, the players hear you, and they go out there.
Your players don't. Oh, you meaning the Dynamo players?
Dynamo players.
It's whatever. If they can't get hyped without me having to hype them, then it's, I'm more worried than at that point. But I don't think I'm going to be worried. I'm really not. I'm not worried right now. It sounds funny, but I have never been more confident about a Dynamo team facing a Liga MX team than I am coming up to this home and away series.
I digress. I
know.
Agree.
I saw the scoreline.
Yeah.
I saw the scoreline. I understand where you're coming from, but this is also a Dynamo team that showed you in 15 minutes what it is absolutely capable of doing.
Okay.
And that was without Kyoto on the pitch. And so yes, we surrendered one goal,
which I'm not worried about.
We surrendered one less goal than Tigres surrendered in both of their legs. Granted, it's much quote unquote easier competition. Don't let Guasatoya fans hear that; they'll lose their shit. But Guasatoya to Tigres is a big jump. I don't digress that. However, the way that the Dynamo played last night on a pitch that was soggy, disgusting. Look, it wasn't muddy by any stretch of the imagination, but there were times where players were slipping. We saw Joe Willis early on in the match slip. Minor, that slide going for that tackle. I even turned to Jeff. I was sitting with Jeff in the first half, Jeff and Sergio.
Yeah.
And I turned to them and I'm like, did someone get a picture, like a video of that? I want a GIF of that, dude. It was so perfect.
It looked like a FIFA glitch where you slide and all of a sudden he slides out the stadium.
You've seen that commercial with the guy that drops to his knees and he's sliding around. That's exactly what it looked like, though.
Yeah.
Because he starts and he just keeps going, and you're
you can even tell how Figueroa's head moved. Like he was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah. No, it was crazy, and I look, Tuesday is going to be a whole nother level, but for the team to come out in those kind of conditions, for Elise to break open as frequently as he did in those kinds of conditions, that's the key there. Those kinds of conditions shows me that this is a team that understands that they're putting everything they have, they're putting their heart and their soul into these CCL matches. And yeah, it was only 15 minutes so they could go full bore, but they've also got a match on Saturday. They're turning around and playing a match on Saturday. So do Tigres, and Tigres and Dynamo are both home for both of those matches. The big difference is Tigres is coming here for the first match. Mm-hmm. We get to stay here. So Tigres has to travel. We don't have to travel. I feel a lot better about that. I think you're going to see the Dynamo come out, and so long as it's not a waterlogged pitch, I feel like Wilmer's going to play the starters, and it's going to be a counterattacking, clinic from both sides because Tigres are used to dealing with the physical side of things. That's Liga MX in a nutshell. You and I have discussed this before. Liga MX is all about the grit and grind and the choppy play, which plays into CONCACAF significantly. But on the flip side, they're very good at the counterattack as well. They wait for their moment to strike. And I think if you look at the Dynamo, whether it's home, especially last season home, or if it's away, so far away, they've proven that they've been able to find that form. They've been able to find almost like a viper that's coiling and waiting. They find their moment and they strike. That first goal from Mauro last night was a screamer into the net. And I didn't realize how fast and how hard he hit it until I saw it back on replay. And
what a control. Like the way to control the shot was because even Elise's shot was coming in a little bit fast because of how wet the pitch was and how he was able to give it the correct touch to give it speed so that way the goalkeeper wouldn't react correctly, but also not sky it. It was just the perfect shot. And Mauro, a lot of people may not realize this, but Mauro Manotas is maturing right before our eyes, and he's only going to get better. And I think a lot of people are still sleeping on Mauro Manotas.
Kalen Carr, has Mauro as the dark horse, as one of his 3 dark horses for the Golden Boot this year. And it wouldn't at all surprise me after last night and how he performed last year during USOC, how he even played during MLS home matches. It wouldn't surprise me to see him continue that form at all. And again, on a waterlogged pitch, you can't say enough about how crucial that little variable makes a difference. How much it changes the trajectory of the ball, the spin on the ball, how fast the ball's coming at you, how slow the ball's coming at you, if the ball holds up, the ball bounces. I mean, all of these things you have to take into account, and yet he was calm and cool. And like you said, it was just a perfect finish to an amazing counterattack. And look, that's what Tigres have to look forward to is an attacking trio, really an attacking foursome that is capable of attacking countering in such a way that if they're not really ready, if they're not taking the Dynamo seriously, the Dynamo will run them over. And I'm not afraid to say it. And I genuinely believe, and you're going to laugh when I say this, Edson, I genuinely believe we're going into Monterrey with a 3-0 scoreline Dynamo advantage.
Come on.
No, I am 100% serious.
Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about the weaknesses and the strengths, or how Tigres play, so you guys can get an idea of what they do. I'll say what the weakness is based on what I tell y'all. You guys can make your own assumptions and let me know in the chat if you agree or disagree with me. So, all right. So right now, the biggest weakness that I see out of Tigres depends. Actually, no, it doesn't depend. So number one weakness, and I talked to you when, in the first leg versus Saprissa, free kicks, or not free kicks, corner kicks, aerial balls inside of the box. That's been Tigres' biggest weakness throughout the last couple of seasons. Most of the goals that they've been scored on have been through corner kicks or free kicks that is headed in. Another weakness that I've seen in CONCACAF, and that's because they have not been using either Venegas or Chaca Rodriguez as starters, and it's your the left back and the right back, Jorge Torres Nilo and Israel Jimenez. They have not been playing with Tigres in a long time. They are really slow. And especially Torres Nilo, he's older now, and in order to make up for his lack of speed, he tends to be very, very choppy, and which is a nice kind of way of putting it. So my biggest thing is there. If Torres Nilo plays, Albert Elise is gonna have a party. I'm gonna say that right now. If Jorge Torres Nilo plays as a starter in this match, Albert Elise is going to do whatever he wants with Jorge Torres Nilo. Now, Tigres, when they attack, if Andre Pierre Gignac is on there, Andre Pierre Gignac is a 9 that tends to stay in that area. He'll sometimes move over to the left side of the pitch and kind of alternate that way, but he tends to be in the box. So he's got to have his wingers feed him balls inside, whether it's Javier Aquino on the left or Julian Quiñones on the right. Julian Quiñones right now he's speedy. So we use him a lot when it comes to counterattacks, especially like when our defender Venegas, he's young, but he's an expert in long balls in counterattacks. So he tends to look for the speed of Julian Quiñones, trying to play behind the backs of the defenders, especially if the defense is way up high on the pitch. However, Julian Quiñones, he's not a good crosser. So neither is Jürgen Damm. Jürgen Damm is one of the fastest players in the world.
Oh, he's incredibly fast.
But that's all he does. He doesn't know how to shoot. He doesn't know how to cross. And Gignac has gotten mad at him many times. Now, if you have Valencia and Vargas behind playing as a false 9 or behind Gignac, Vargas is an expert of staying outside the box. The winger with Chaca Rodriguez, he's the right back, but he has a more of offensive capability. So when he comes up, he tries to look for the cross or tries to look for Vargas outside of the box. And Vargas is an expert of shots outside the box. He scored many goals like that. In fact, yesterday he scored against Saprissa. His goal was like that. He looked for him right outside the box, and first time takes the shot towards the second post. There was nothing the goalkeeper can do. So that's one of the things that Dynamo needs to look out for. You got to have either Matias Vera or Juan David Cabezas if he plays. He's got to be a little bit lower when Tigres has the ball and make sure that Vargas is not completely open.
You able to breathe now? Are you good? Get that all out now?
Kind of.
Okay. Look, as I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying this, but the way Tigres play, especially if Guignac's on the field, especially if they go speed on the outside, it plays into the Dynamo hands. It really does. Because if there's one thing that the Dynamo have proven they are capable of doing at home, it is that they are capable of taking the best player on the best, or the striker on the opposing team out of a match for 80 to 85 minutes. I'm just saying, if Gignac is the guy up top, he's not going to get his goal here in Houston. He might do it. He might do it in Monterrey, but he's not doing it here in Houston because the Dynamo will completely take him out of the match. He's going to try to find space, and eventually he will. But they're going to take him out of the match because they're going to stick either Vera or Cabezas or Saren, whoever it is, probably Vera at that point, directly on him. And
I don't think he's going to play. I don't think Guignac's going to play. He came out with an injury. Like he says, they're only limiting him to playing one match out of the week, and they're putting him in league matches. So
there you
biggest
go.
probability is going to be Vargas playing as a false 9, Valencia, Quiñones, and Aquino.
And I think if you think about it, that play is very similar to the Dynamo style. Very similar to the Dynamo style. Which is pretty interesting, really. So I guess we'll see. But I still look. I've said it, and I'm going to stand by it. 3-0 Dynamo going into Monterrey, and if that's the score line, it is going to destroy some Tigres fans in that stadium that are going to show up. And let's be real, that stadium BBVA is going to be 75 to 80% Tigres fans. Mm-hmm. And it hurts me to say it, but I know it's a Tuesday night match. Dynamo don't usually show well on midweek matches. There's a lot of tickets being sold, but those tickets that are being sold are mostly people that were going to go either way.
So the supporters group is actually, last I heard, they are planning to do an invasion of BBVA Compass Stadium, which is basically that, just taking over the stadium with a bunch of Tigres fans coming in from Monterrey, from local, and from all over the United States. So
yeah, good luck with that, because I mean, there's going to be they're going to have to buy single tickets, and don't get me wrong, they will. However, I do think that because of past grievances notwithstanding here in Houston, there's going to be a very heavy security presence throughout the stadium, especially near the supporters groups, but I think even more so in areas where there is a large contingency of Tigres fans against Dynamo fans. And look, flat out right now, I'm telling you, there's going to be onesie twosies available on the Dynamo side, compared to the Tigres side, because that's exactly what the Dynamo are doing. They're letting they're giving Tigres basically half the stadium to sell tickets. And I think if we're being really honest, Tigres wouldn't do that for the Dynamo in Monterrey. They wouldn't be real. They wouldn't do that. And it's not a slight to Tigres. It's because Tigres fans are going to travel better than Dynamo fans will.
And please, I mean, come on, dude. Like, the whole stadium is always packed.
Like I said, it wasn't meant to be a slight to Monterrey. I was just saying it's not something that Monterrey are going to do, where they're going to set aside half a stadium for Dynamo fans.
That's correct. Yeah.
And it is nothing against Monterrey. That's just how the fans are. It's how the fans travel. But Cisco makes the point too. There's a cold front coming through Sunday, Monday, and it'll probably be really cold, 30s or 40s at kickoff. So you're probably not wrong, Sergio. I would say there's probably a likelihood of zero Dynamo fans in Monterrey right now. There will be some traveling fans I know of specifically. Yeah. A couple of quick things to mention coming up, guys. First of all, if you are in the chat or you are watching the stream, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it later back after tonight, do us a favor, like the stream, like the video, share the stream. Make sure to get the word out. The more that we can get kind of integrated into the fan base culture, the more opportunities we have to spread some cool stuff around. And make no mistake, there are some very cool things happening right now. And I think it's probably just about time we take a break, Edson, so I can get a drink and not feel like I'm about to die. So why don't we take a break and we'll come back at 7:30.
Okay. That'll be excellent. So we will be right back in a couple of minutes. Don't go away just yet. We will continue to talk about Houston Dynamo and the CCL.
much that we can find out. We've got so much that we can work out. There's still so much that we can find out. It's a whole different story now. It's a whole different story now.
All right, guys, welcome back to Generation Orange. My name is Edson Ochoa and Sean Ringrose. We are your hosts for Generation Orange. We're continuing to talk about the upcoming CONCACAF Champions League match between Tigres and the Houston Dynamo. And one of the things we were talking about was pretty much what we can expect from both teams. I know Sean was pretty much saying right now, if you guys missed it, he said that at home, the Dynamo would defeat Tigres 3-0. But I think it'll be a lot tougher for Tigres than a lot of people imagine, to be honest. But I don't think it's gonna be an uneven match for either team. One of the concerns that I had after watching yesterday's match was that I understand we're still pretty much getting out of preseason mode, but some of our players' first touches were just bad. You know, they weren't able to, even though it was wet, you know, it was just like they weren't able to control the ball correctly.
Look, I mean, I get it, but again, enough cannot be said about how wet that pitch was, how choppy that made everything. It's real easy to point at that and say they need to do better, but you know, we've seen them on better surfaces be just fine. So I attribute that to, I mean, you know, some of it is still learning communication things, getting that sort of stuff figured out, but you know, some of it is also, I mean, even Elise had trouble with it, and it wasn't, I mean, and Guastatoya had more, just as much, if not more trouble than we did. So, and I mean, it was, there were moments with the referee on the sideline, on the camera side where the camera looks at, I mean, it's like the referee was standing in 2 inches of water almost. So there was, you know, whether the pitch looked like it or not, it definitely was retaining a significant amount of water. It was like a sponge. And, you know, there were times when, especially before the match, where there was a Guastatoya defender running across the pitch, just kind of trotting, doing his warm up. And at every step he would take, it would splash out, you know, like he'd step and you'd see it like
the puddle,
you know, well, not the puddle, but you'd see it like jumping into a puddle. That's what it looked like. Like it looked like he compressed it and the water just almost like a sprinkler type thing going off. And, you know, so, I mean, you know, again, it's easy to say, oh, they needed to be more crisp with their passes, that sort of thing. But, you know, 2.5 hour rain delay, you know, on top of a wet pitch, rushing to, you know, they didn't have a lot of warm up time. They only warmed up each team like 30 seconds to a minute. They didn't have a lot of warm up time. You know, the Dynamo are coming in off preseason, so they're still getting some of that rust knocked off. But at the end of the day, the Dynamo did what they had to do in terrible conditions. Pitch looked great, don't get me wrong, but again, it was like a sponge. It just absorbed all the water, so it was going to be that type of match. But you know, one of the things that was brought up is, you know, in the YouTube chat related to this Tuesday's match, is that there were incidents with individuals from Guastatoya's fan base that were in the lower section in front of EB and TA, that made some derogatory motions and gestures, and even some words were said. There needs to be a stronger front office response to that, especially with Tigres coming in. And I don't expect Tigres fans to be that type of unruly. They will be. But I also expect the front office will take it more seriously than they did with Guastatoya. I think part of the reason they didn't take it quite as seriously with Guastatoya is because, you kind of...
Let's be honest, they were not expecting as many Guastatoya fans in the stadium as they actually have. To me,
but that doesn't make any sense, right? You have, you have Glenn on Twitter, on social media, going out there and saying he was expecting close to, 1,000 Guastatoyan fans. And I don't think that was far off. I think it was probably, 400 to 500. But the fact that they were there, the fact that Glenn said he expected it, means that really the Dynamo had the opportunity to take it more seriously. And for whatever reason, they didn't, at least in certain regards. And I do think that, guys like John Walker will address those things. They'll fit, they'll take care of them. It's not things they're just going to ignore and move on from. He's going to take a very serious look at operations and say, look, these are areas we were deficient in and not ready for. And with Tigres coming into town, we need to be even more, ready and prepared for. One big thing, and I've seen Darby mention it multiple times today, is that, a Guastatoya fan was able to get in with an umbrella. And that's kind of scary because, those are completely illegal within the, confines of BBVA. But I think part of it is too, as far as, security goes, it was the rain delay, because they did security inside the stadium instead of outside the stadium like they normally would. But I also think it was lax because you had a 2.5 hour kind of wait. So some guys came in early and, what have you. So I think it was a little different.
And remember that in rain delays, they usually let you go back to your car. And once they announce that you're ready to come back in, they'll just let you back in.
They'll let you back in. Yeah. So I think some of that came into play as well yesterday. But at the end of the day, truth be told, the reality is they need to make sure they deal with it. And if that's going to be the stance on rain delays, they need to, they can't afford for that to be the stance on rain delays. People can be allowed to go back to their car, but they need to be ushered back through the security line just like everybody else.
Correct.
Because otherwise, if you're letting somebody go back to their car, you don't know what they're grabbing or what they're bringing back in. So, just those types of things I'd like to see improved. And I do think that, again, John Walker and his guys will address it and we'll deal with it. So we'll, and I do think that there were definitely some guys that were learning on the job, if you will, some training on the job, trial by fire for sure. But I think, again, those things will all be addressed this week during the week. And I think we'll see, we'll see on Saturday. I think we'll see a much more solid response on Saturday to security and all of that. And that's kind of the funny thing, though, right, Edson? Looking at this and going, holy crap, we have an MLS match on Saturday. And here we are, probably 90% of the show, if not more, is going to be about Tuesday. Both this Tuesday we just left and the Tuesday next week. Yeah. Because it takes precedence over the start of the MLS regular season. It really does. And so, I sit here and I kind of smile about it because it's been a long time since I've had something this exciting to really get behind. Besides, from a Dynamo standpoint, U.S. Open Cup last year was amazing, but this is a definite step up, and the Dynamo are proving it so far, that they're able to handle it.
Think about it this way. For the Dynamo, this upcoming match is pretty much like they have everything to gain and pretty much almost nothing to lose for. What do you gain? You gain a brand awareness outside of the United States. And even within your own city, with supporters from the other team that have a lot of them more pull. Think about it this way: it's one thing to defeat a team when it's a preseason match. For example, I know going into USL, Las Vegas match, and we're all going all happy because they beat Toronto. It was like, dude, it's preseason. Come on, But it's another thing when an MLS team defeats a Liga MX team in in an official competition, then yes, of course, like it brings a lot more validity and kind of, you know, raises eyebrows on the supporters that are local, that are supporting another team. Is like, hey, you know, this team, the team from the city I live in, might actually be something legit. You know, if they defeated my team.
Yeah.
In theory, I guess that's how it works.
Something to that effect. I mean, you know, it is what it is. So real quick, let's recap the match last night. So starting lineup, we had Pena up top, Quieto and Hairston as the starting wingers with Tommy Mack underneath them.
Yes.
In that attacking mid role. You had Vera and Saren as your D mids. And then our back four was Beasley, Figueroa, Struna, and De La Garza. And then you had Willis in goal. Subs were Derek, Fuenmayor, Menottes, Martinez, Kevin Garcia, Elise, and Boniac Garcia. And we saw Elise, Morrow, and Boniac come onto the pitch in sub roles.
Yes.
And I thought, you know, Boney looked pretty good, actually, in what action I saw. In fact, he had a couple of great passes that
he kept up the pressure
he did.
on Ochoa.
He did, and he created opportunities for Elise and Morrow out wide, and even an opportunity for Hairston out wide. I mean, when Elise and Morrow came into the match, you know, they were already starting to create some opportunities, but when Boney came into the match and solidified that, it just amplified to another level. I mean, they just the three of them just took it to a different level, and Hairston kind of joined in a little bit there. I would have liked to have seen Hairston get a you know, real opportunity at goal, but I mean, you know, Elise had a breakaway, Hairston had a breakaway, Morrow had a breakaway. You know, so when you can get your three top guys in a matter of, you know, really a 10-minute span getting breakaways on a pitch like that was just that waterlogged. Your microphone just got super sensitive there. It was crazy. But when you can have that happen and have it happen so effectively, it's, you know, it's pretty great to see. So I want to take a few moments, guys, to talk about something that is really important to me, and that is that I had an opportunity last night to meet with a few of the guys from EB over at King's Court after the match. And I want you guys to know that this podcast does not support one group over another. We are a Dynamo-RGV podcast. We are not a Texan Army podcast. We are not an El Batallon podcast. But we firmly believe and firmly support both supporters groups, and we believe that they both have a place supporting the Dynamo. And so I took the opportunity, it was really kind of presented to me, to go and hang out with EB after the match at King's Court, and had an opportunity to take a couple of minutes with one of the three leaders of El Batallon, and it was enlightening in a very positive way. It was good in a very positive way. And it gives me a lot of personal satisfaction to have had that opportunity and to be able to listen what Manny had to say. I wanted to take a few moments because Manny has also allowed us, he's given us a statement that we can share. And so I wanted to take a few moments of the show tonight to share that statement and speak about what he's got to say. But guys, just bear with me. It's a little long. It's a little long, but it's really good stuff. And I hope you guys really listen to this, because it's absolutely, you know, I had the statement prior to meeting with him yesterday, but after meeting him with him yesterday, I can tell you that this is absolutely his heart. And this is absolutely what he believes and who he is, surface and down deep. So please just, you know, listen and be open to listening to it. Yes, he is not succinct. That is a very absolute honest statement. But here goes, guys. I'm going to read this. So, again, this is from Manolo Gutierrez, also known as Manny, 1/3 of El Batallon's leadership. In the most culturally diverse city in the U.S., El Batallon is dedicated to establishing and advancing a culture of unwavering support for our local club, playing the world sport with the goal of promoting the passion and pride of Houston to the world. Dues are paid through action and dedication. El Batallon is for anyone, but it's not for everyone, and that's okay. So long as we can inspire others to display love and loyalty to and for the city that we love and its club. El Batallon has been hard at work in the offseason developing an album available both in physical medium, aka CD, as well as across every major digital platform with the goal of integrating all fans to engage in vocal support. The recent posted video guides are a testament to this goal. We believe in giving back to the community that has bonded us through life and sport, and a portion of all proceeds from both the album and this season's merchandise will go to fund MD Anderson's cancer research. We've recently been working with Discovery Channel Espanol to showcase to the world what this club and city is all about, as they've been filming a documentary in the offseason leading up to the opening league match. You can keep up to date and reach us via social media at facebook.com/EB La Banda del Dynamo, as well as our Instagram at @L_Batallon_. We meet every game home and away at Kings Court at 903 Hutchins, just across the street from BBVA Compass Stadium. So those first two paragraphs absolutely speak to Manny's heart and his passion and in what he believes genuinely. Again, having had a chance to sit down and talk to him, and having the chance to sit down and talk with him, it absolutely instilled in me the belief that there is an absolute wealth of passionate people, some already in positions to continue moving forward, and some yet to be in those positions. But it's just, I look back at 2010, having been a fan since 2006 when they first got here, having been a fan for that long, looking back through the years, to the ups and the downs, I read stuff like this. I talk to guys like Manny and listen to what they really have to say. And it reminds me of why I am so passionate about this team. It reminds me why I'm so dedicated to this team. And it's not just the team. It's not just the organization, but it's because this team pulls out of people their passion for the world game, but also their passion for people, their passion for the rest of the fans. I was talking with somebody last night at the El Batallon after party over at Kings Court. And, one of the things I said, and I firmly believe this, and I hope this comes across, is that I don't care how you support the Dynamo, whether it's in Texian Army, whether it's in El Batallon, whether it's online by supporting local media like podcasts, whether it's calling into radio shows, whether it's sharing it with 20 of your coworkers by taking them to a match, whether it's you have season tickets, whether it's, you're watching podcasts, you're recording a podcast. I don't care how you support the Dynamo. But at the end of the day, if you support the Dynamo in any way, shape, or form, you are my brother in arms or my sister in arms. At the end of the day, I will bleed, I will sweat, I will cry with you. Because at the end of the day, you support the same team that I support. You support the same people that I support. The one thing that I am absolutely that I will absolutely die on the sword over. If you disparage anybody who supports the Dynamo because they support differently than you, then you're not supporting the Dynamo, whether it's the Dynamo culture, the Dynamo organization, or the Dynamo players. You're supporting yourself. At the end of the day, we are all supporters in our own way, and that needs to be okay. And it's exactly what Manny said, and it's exactly what I believe. So guys, at the end of the day, please, I don't care if someone's just sitting in their seat and having a good time. If they're there and they're enjoying themselves and they are cheering on the Dynamo in their own way, that is what matters. That is what is going to take this fan base to the next level. That is where I want to go. So those of you watching, those of you listening, I don't care if this goes viral or not. I don't give a rat's ass because it's not what I'm here for. But at the end of the day, if you're part of that group, spread the word. Everybody needs to feel comfortable in our stadium. They need to feel welcome in our stadium because by God, at the end of the day, it's our stadium. Nobody else is taking our stadium over. BBVA Compass Stadium is our stadium. I believe that wholeheartedly. And look, these Tigres fans are going to come in and they are going to overwhelm us this year. 2-3 years down the road, damn it, we're going to overwhelm them here in Houston.
Amen.
It's going to happen. So guys, we're doing it. We're doing it for real and we're doing it big. If you want to be part of it, I don't care if you don't sit in the TA section. I don't care if you don't sit in the EB section. I don't care if you sit across the stadium behind the goal or up in 225 or 226 or 217 or 205, or if you sit in GA because that's all you can afford to do, or you sit and you watch at home. If you're part of this movement, then do something for me. Reach out to us and let us know. We want to start trying to capture some of these names so that we can start sharing information when it becomes available about these different events and things, because we're trying to do stuff. We're trying to unite this fan base, not uniting the supporters groups necessarily into one supporters group, but trying to unite the fan base. We are a family, we're a community, and it is time we started acting like it and stopped talking bad about one another, stopped beating each other up mentally, emotionally, verbally. Because at the end of the day, we're all Dynamo supporters. And again, like I said, you are my sister or you are my brother in arms, and I will fight, I will die, and I will bleed for you. And I hope you guys feel the same way. All right, I'm done, Edson. I'm off my soapbox now.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. And I talked about it yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. You know, it saddens me when your own fellow Dynamo fan goes on a rant on social media and starts saying that nobody is as good as a fan as we are or as I am because I do this, or I travel to a different country to go see my team, therefore anybody else who doesn't do it is less of a fan than I am. No. We all have different responsibilities. We have different financial reaches. But all in all, there's one feeling that should unite us all. And it's the love for your team. Whether it's Dynamo, whether it's Tigres, whether it's the United States national team, we are all in this together. And if you're going to divide...
Or, hold on, Edson, or the Dash. Or the dash. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Or the Dash. Or RGV. We're all united under one sentiment. And if we're going to be bickering like little children over who's the favorite or whatever, when push comes to shove and the team needs our support, we're not going to be there because a lot of people are going to be reluctant to, let's say, for example, EBTA lead a chant, and you got people on the stadiums. Oh, I hate the supporters groups. You know what? And they're trying to lead a Let's Go Dynamo, and they're not going into it. That does not help the team at all. You know, it's time we all set aside our differences, whatever they are, whatever difference exists, and unite for the Dynamo. In a match just like the one this Thursday or Tuesday.
This Thursday, if you show up on Thursday, don't expect there to be a match, just so it's clear. That's Edson playing that Tigres card hardcore right there, guys. He's telling you Thursday because he knows if you show up, we're winning and we're beating Tigres all the way back to Monterrey. I'm sorry, continue. I had to throw that out there.
for this match on Thursday, with such a difficult opponent, the team needs you. The team needs everybody, every Dynamo fan in the stadium to be vocal, to pressure Gignac, to pressure Vargas, to pressure Tuca Ferretti, to pressure everybody that's on that team and make them feel uncomfortable on the pitch. Because from what I can tell you, when Tigres feels uncomfortable, and like any other team, but when Tigres really feels uncomfortable, Gignac is out of his element. Like he spends most of his time complaining to the ref, getting into an argument with other players rather than focusing on actually playing soccer and what to do for the team. So does Vargas. Tigres has a lot of hotheads, in this. The team has a lot of hotheads, especially your stars, your Valencias, your Gignacs, your Vargas. You know, so it's up to the Dynamo fans. It's up to us to get in their heads, and that'll only help the Houston Dynamo. That'll only help Elise. That'll only help Kyoto. That'll only help Manotas. That'll only help Struna. And don't make me list all of the players on the roster, but you get my point. We need to be united, not only just this Tuesday, but every match at BBVA Compass Stadium. Put your differences aside. Grow up. Put your differences aside, and let's think about how we can unite and participate for this team. Instead of, what can I do to make myself better than every other Dynamo fan around me?
And the reason I brought up the Dash, it's been on my heart as well. I want to see the Dash support grow, and I want to see it become what I know it's capable of becoming. And there are efforts underway to make that happen a little bit this year. But here's the thing, too. I mean, we should feel the same way about the Houston Dash that we do about the Houston Dynamo. And I say that from a sincere heart, because there are times that I don't feel the same way. Now, some of that is because I pour everything right now into the Dynamo, and so by the time I'm done, I have nothing left to give. You know, it's like I'm pouring out what I have. At the end, eventually that ends. I have a finite amount of me that I can pour out. But Kalia Ohai, Claire Polkinghome, Alyssa Chapman, Jane Campbell, Sophia Huerta. Should I go on, Cisco, or is that good for you? Because I can go on. But look, people like Sarah Gilliland have been doing and supporting the Dash fervently and feverishly since their inception. They've put their blood, their sweat, and their tears into the Dash. And there's no reason that there aren't any of us that are out here that can't do the same. And I know, and I don't know if Jake's here with us in YouTube chat, but you know, Jake, he just moved from Hawaii here to Houston for a number of different reasons. But he's one of those guys that I have no doubt is going to be sitting in that supporter section with Sarah and banging drums and cheering and leading chants and just getting involved. And at the end of the day, supporters groups, and I know Sarah will back me up on this, and I'm sure if there's any EB or TA members in chat, I know Darby's in chat and Pat's in chat, and Sam's probably close to chat. But if there's anybody of y'all will back me up on this when I say this, but it takes an army. It takes a village. Look, the people you see that are out there in front yelling and screaming their heads off, that's all great. But at the end of the day, it still takes people that are dedicated to, and Cisco, I was referring to leadership stuff, but okay, Cisco as well. Apparently Cisco's now leadership. I had no idea. Hey, breaking news, folks. I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you a hard time. But you know, it takes people being willing to dive in and do the dirty work. Because you know, when you're a leader, it doesn't matter what you're a leader of, but when you're a leader, you can't do everything for everyone.
Correct.
And so, you know, TA and EVs, they need people that are people that can go and they can, you know, befriend everybody that walks through the door of Pitch 25 or King's Court or, you know, wherever. They need people that are talented and can play instruments so that they can get involved with the band and get involved with La Banda and help grow that and help build that, because that is what's going to drive that passion. And the same is true for the Dash supporters group. I'm going to butcher this, Sarah, and it's Bayou City. I'm stopping there because I don't remember if I know it's not Brigade, because that's what I wanted to keep calling it. It's Republic, Bayou City Republic. Thank you. Bayou City Republic. I'll get it right someday, Sarah. I will, I promise. The Bayou City Republic. But, you've got to have, Sarah needs people that are willing to dive in and help out. And, if you don't want to be one of those people that, necessarily goes and bangs a drum, hey, I'm sure she's totally cool with that. But I'm sure she would also still love to have you come and hang out at away watch parties, come and help organize people. Even people that are willing to bring drums and put them in the section, or bring flags and put them in the section, or, whatever it is. They need help recruiting. I mean, these are things that anybody can do. And one of the things that I really hope is kind of getting across also is that there's a lot of talent out there that is untapped when it comes to the supporters groups, and it comes to, the fan base in general, that, whether it's graphic artists or whether it's people that are, talented at making websites, or people that are talented at podcasting. I don't know anybody like that, Edson, but maybe there's people that are that way,
Me neither.
Maybe it's people that are talented waving a flag. That's what you do best. Hey, if you're a flag waver, I'm sure any of the supporters groups will be happy to take you.
Or maybe somebody that is good with handling social media and how marketing works.
Absolutely. Or TIFO, maybe you're into painting, or you're a graffiti artist, look, there's plenty of opportunities to get involved that don't require you to stand in the section and cheer. Yeah, that's great. And that's what we want ultimately from as many fans as possible when it comes to the supporters groups in general, and it comes to that kind of level of support. But I stop, Callow. That just totally derailed me, but very funny. But, at the end of the day, there's just opportunities. There's opportunities to get involved. There's opportunities to serve, if you will. And look, if you've come to a Dynamo match, or you've come to multiple Dynamo matches, or you've been a season ticket holder for years and you've not gotten involved yet, why not? What's holding you back from getting involved? And if your answer is, I don't want to stand and cheer in the section, or I don't want to jump up and down, I want to be able to kind of hang out and be myself, then, hey, cool, no problem. But that doesn't mean you can't get involved. Or if it's I don't have time, you have enough time for the Dynamo. I get it. I really do. Trust me, as somebody whose time has dwindled down to about next to nothing at this point, I get it. But there's still time. Even if it's just compiling together what's going on for a specific supporters group to send out to the members via email, that's something you can do. And not everybody's going to have all the time in the world to devote. Some people may just have 30 minutes before a match each week, or 30 minutes after a match each week, or, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, everybody has talent. Everybody's, has capabilities that they can tap into to help grow the supporters groups and, grow the culture. Sarah, that's a good call out too. You don't even have to be you don't even have to be a fan in Houston. Social media does not require you to be in Houston. You can easily have people that are running social media without being at the things. All I'm saying, this totally went tangentized, which is pretty much common for the show. But at the end of the day, look, everybody has talent. Live. It's time to get involved. It's time to get off our butts and do something. I have seen a lot of complaints from a lot of fans from all walks of life, all cultures, complaining that the supporters groups are not doing enough, that they're not loud enough, that they're not, strong enough, whatever it is, that they're not there before the whistle, kickoff, whatever it is. All these complaints, I don't care about them. I don't. I'm tired of hearing them, because at the end of the day, somebody has to take that first step, and it should not have to be the supporters groups, because they're doing what they can do with the resources they have available. So guys, it's your responsibility to take the first step. And again, as I said, you can do that simply by getting involved, doing whatever you do best, doing whatever you don't do best, just get involved. And I can guarantee you, if you reach out to any of the leaders from either of the two Dynamo supporters groups or the Dash supporters group, or even the RGV Toros supporters group, the Stampede, Johnny Ruiz specifically, I am 100% certain they will open their arms wide and welcome you in, no matter what you do, no matter how you want to support, no matter how you already support. They will welcome you in for sure. So I told you guys this was going to be a long show. I was not kidding. I have had this on my mind for, you can ask Edson, it's been on my mind for months now. And I've wanted to get to here. And I've wanted to share this with you guys, and I've wanted to get it out there for you guys to kind of share and embrace as well, and be part of it. And again, guys, we appreciate you being on, in YouTube chat, because there's a ton of you in YouTube chat right now talking. It's going faster than I can keep up with usually. But thanks for hanging in YouTube chat. We're going to try to make it 3 hours tonight, but one of the things that's required if we want to go 3 hours, if you guys want us to go 3 hours, or if you want it to go 3 hours and you want us to continue talking about this topic, or you want to talk about it because you have something to say about this topic, our phone lines are open, 956-622-5977. Number again is 956-622-5977. Did you fail at something?
No, I'm trying to point at the number that's at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, you pointed at your own handle. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But seriously, guys, thank you for hanging in there. If you're watching the stream, make sure to please like the stream, like the video, share the stream. Get people watching, because, and it has nothing to do with numbers. We don't care about the numbers. I really don't. But it's because I want people to be more involved and more engaged. And I think this is a huge opportunity with Generation Orange to kind of help bridge that gap a little bit and be that kind of hub of where everybody can kind of hang out and be real and be honest. And at the end of the day, we as a podcast are committing to being welcoming to everybody, inclusive of everybody. If we see anything in chat, and I'm throwing it out there now, if I see anything in chat that disparages somebody else, no matter why it's disparaging them, you will be banned from chat and be banned from this show, period. End of story. I'm not going to tolerate it, because at the end of the day, I've said it and I'll say it again. We're family. Family fights, but family never disparages one another like that. So there you go.
All right, so we'll be right back.
We're going to take a break. We are definitely going to take a break. My throat is feeling it.
I need to get some water. All right,
yeah.
We'll be right back in a couple of minutes, in about 4 minutes. So don't go away just yet. We still got hour number 2 to go.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
I'm foolish. I needed you. I needed you.
All right, guys, welcome back to hour number 2 for Generation Orange.
Holy crap! It's been an hour. Holy crap!
A little bit over an hour.
I see that
8:11.
Wow.
But it's been going by really quick thanks to all of y'all's participation. Just a quick reminder, the phone lines are open. Be sure to call us at 956-622-5977. That phone line is live on the show to give us your hot takes and what are your thoughts on our discussion that we just had a little while ago at the end of the first part or second
Hey,
part,
Edson, is the phone ringing? Because it should be ringing.
It is not. Oh, it just rang.
Oh, hey, look at that. I'm psychic.
Seems legit. Welcome to Generation Orange. Who are we speaking with today?
This is Samuel Purcell. Thank you so much for the invite, y'all.
How are you doing, Sam? Welcome to Generation Orange. Sean, can you hear
What's
him?
up, Sam?
Oh,
Yeah, I can hear him. You're good. You're good. What's up, Sam?
Hey, Sean. Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Exhausted, ready to go crawl into bed again for the second night in a row.
I saw your Twitter post earlier. I thought it was hilarious. It's so true. It's like we're just waking up this morning and like, yeah, okay. I need to push that snooze alarm again. Okay, yeah. Oh, no, now I need to get out of bed.
Absolutely.
It was bad for me waking up.
Hey, look, let's be real, though. There's no better way to wake up than after a Dynamo victory.
That's true.
There's really not.
Oh, amen. Amen to that. And for a second when I woke up, I'm like, wait a second. Was that a dream? No, that was real. Okay, this is going to be a great day.
Absolutely. So, Sam, first of all, thanks for calling in. For those that don't know who you are, do you want to share a little bit about who you are?
Sure, absolutely. My name is Samuel. I've met several of y'all, Sean, especially through Texan Army. Been involved with them for about 5 years now, and only within the last 2-3 years been involved with leadership with them, and kind of been taking the lead as of this year, and that's really exciting because, man, it's a season that I know of change kind of on the horizon for us. A lot of great things for the team, a lot of great things for the culture in the city of Houston itself, which gives an opportunity for us as any sports fan, particularly in Dynamo, to kind of rally together. And I'm kind of talking about the World Cup in 2026 as Houston being a potential host. And so I kind of see as us kind of setting a precedence, getting our butts in gear. So real excited to be part of that real early on, but as part of that, in my opinion. So anyway, a little bit about me. Yeah.
Very cool. So, Sam, I know that Texan Army has a kickoff party coming up on Friday. You want to tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, if anybody, any listeners right now, been come over to our Texan Army events, our tailgates in particular. The opening day is chaotic. It is crazy, and in a good way, in a fun way. But for anyone who's helping out in the logistics and, getting things cooked and making sure the games are all set out and the tents are all propped up, it's crazy. So to kind of help alleviate that, we're just like, listen, let's just have a more a chillax way to hang out with everybody and kind of meet meet all the new members, welcome our returning members, say hi to guests. But let's do that in a different environment. So let's all go out to pitch. So we've been partnering with Pitch. We will be partnering with Pitch for the majority of our watch parties this season. And we thought it'd be great to kind of use that as Pitch on Friday to help launch our kickoff for the season. Granted, we've already had a couple of watch parties with CCL, but besides that, we will be using Pitch this Friday. We'll be at Pitch starting at 5 o'clock, and for the rest of the evening. You will find us there in the rooms. You walk into the main doors, you'll find us to the right. You'll see a whole lit wall of these lights, these Christmas light-looking lights. And you can find any one of us in there, or we'll be walking around saying hi to other Dynamo folks. But that'll be a neat opportunity just to meet some more people on leadership, some more people that are members of TA. And also, if you sign up for a membership, it's a great opportunity just to pick up your shirt too. Because in the chaos of Saturday, some people forget to grab their shirts and whatnot. So definitely one of those perks to becoming a member is getting the newly designed. The design hasn't been released yet, so I'm really excited to share that. But that's what Friday's all about. It's kind of neat. One other big fun thing that's going down on Friday at Pitch is they're having bubble soccer. I don't know how many of y'all have actually participated in that this last several weeks. I know Pitch has been putting those events on, but it is so much fun. I did it about 3-4 weeks ago, and that game is more. You don't know what you're getting into. I didn't, because you're holding up this ball of air. You're like, okay, this is gonna be no big deal, and then you have this ball of air and plastic, which I'm thinking is like, I don't know, 20, 30 pounds something, and you're obviously inside of it. You're having to walk around and bounce around. That is, Sean, have you done that? Edson, have any of y'all played bubble soccer before? You know what I'm describing?
I was super tempted because they had that for the Toros match this past Saturday, and I was so tempted to do it, but I didn't bring my sneakers, so I was like, no, I probably won't be able to. But
Wait. Edson, you didn't take your sneakers, but you went and played on Pitch 25's pitch after Gen Orange a few months back, maybe a year back. I don't know.
Yeah, and how long did I last? Like 5 minutes before I was already out of breath?
You made it 10 minutes. Come on now. You could have made it a few minutes in bubble soccer. It would have been great.
It's different,
yeah,
Astrid.
It'll be exciting. It'll be fun. So, Edison, basically, everyone's listening. Yes, bring your sneakers and shorts, maybe.
Yeah,
you will get a little hot.
Speaking of, with the kickoff party, if there are people that are listening or watching this later or listening later, i.e. tomorrow or Friday during the day, and they are inspired for whatever reason to go join Texan Army, what is it that they need to do to go join Texan Army?
To join Texan Army, please visit texanarmy.com/join and sign up. We'll just, get your name, your email address, and some basic essentials, because we want to keep you in the loop of any of our events, our newsletter. We have an awesome editor and writer, Darby, who's kind of spearheaded that and rekindled that. but also sign up. One of those benefits as becoming a member is the member shirt, as I was talking about earlier, as well as discounted tickets to the general admission, the supporter section at the BBVA Stadium. Also discounts to a lot of our away games, particularly the Dallas games. We rally together as many supporters and any fans in general that want to come and hang out with us and take a trip up to Dallas. It's always a fun crew that goes up. But then also we get into a Facebook forum, Facebook group, to where there's all sorts of chatter on the latest whispers and whatnot of Dynamo happening. So anyway, that's just some of the few. Love to meet you. Before even consider coming membership. Hanging out with us is not, you do not have to be a member to come to our tailgate. You don't even have to be a member to come out even Friday. There are just some perks with becoming a member. And we'd just love to be able to talk to you if you have any questions about that. We'd love to see anyone and everyone there and wearing orange on Friday and Saturday at our tailgate, but more importantly Friday, because it's going to be a quieter environment, somewhat, to meet everyone. I'm going to go and say it early too, is that I'm going to have to ask for forgiveness because, again, learning everyone's names, it's going to give me like 3 or 4 opportunities to learn everyone's names. So again, I apologize in advance. To repeat everyone's names, it's going to help. But look forward to seeing everyone there on Friday at Pitch 25 from 5 to 9.
Absolutely. I will be there for sure. And I know of a few people that will definitely be there as well, and a few that are probably going to be there. So definitely come on down, hang out, say hi. One of the things, and I'm glad you brought it up, Sam, is that you don't have to be a member to be there, because there's a lot of people that aren't TA members and probably not likely to join, anytime soon or anything. And so, you're still welcome. You're still welcome to come hang out, find out what it's all about, because you just never know. You might find that inspiration you need to join, or possibly find out what you needed to find out that makes you maybe change your mind about joining. You should definitely go. Definitely go, because it's going to be a good time for sure. And as I understand it, Sam, there's going to be some giveaways as well.
Yes. Oh, yes. We are lining up those giveaways. Happy hours ends at 6 o'clock. So if anyone's able to swing by there before then, definitely
for 5 to 6
definitely
for the happy hour. Yeah. Wear out the happy hour discounts, man, for sure.
For sure.
And Darby mentions in chat that we're also going to be doing some sing-alongs to help learn the EB chants as well. So that'll be good as well. I know it can be difficult to learn on the fly in the stadium during matches,
yes.
but getting a chance to practice together will definitely be good for Texan Army and its members. So yeah, definitely come on down, hang out, have a good time. Drink some beer, and get to know Texan Army. I think is a big part of what this is kind of intended to be, is get to know Texan Army, get to know one another.
Absolutely.
Find out if maybe it is for you. If you're on the fence and not really sure, there's nothing, it doesn't hurt you to come out and hang out, because you never know. You might just, like I said, you might find that thing that puts you over the edge that you didn't expect to find. Anything else? Anything else?
If I may, for just a second, it's just that joining Texan Army, being involved with them the last 5 years, I know I came from the fringes. It was a weird game. It was back in, I think, 2014, I want to say. I forget which match it was, but it was at the end of the season. I was with one of my buddies, and we had tickets close to the supporter section by his recommendation. And so we sat close, but I couldn't get inside the supporter section because, of course, you had to have access through, FO. So about halftime, we ended up getting in the section through somebody. He asked someone to get wristbands, and we got in. As soon as we got inside, next thing you know, the Texan Army president at the time walked up, introduced himself, said, "Hey, come out. Here's my phone number. Love to see you at the tailgate." And we showed up afterwards for the post tailgate, and the rest is history. I mean, I just started going, helping them set up the tents and serving food and beer to everyone that came. And I just ended up loving the community a lot. That kind of put me in position to go, let's start to give back to that now. And really grateful to be sharing this position in leadership through Texas Army. Really excited to meet anyone who just wants to come out and hang out with us. And especially welcome to all of our returning members and anyone who ends up wanting to be part of this community. It's gonna be a great year. I'm feeling very, very positive about it.
So actually, I do have something else I want to ask you about. It hit Twitter
Sure.
and YouTube late last week, over the weekend. I think is when it actually hit. Maybe it was Monday. I don't know. My days are starting to blur together at this point. But there was the video that the Dynamo released of Texian Army members at a Dynamo practice, handing out gift bags that had some Texian Army swag in them, and a letter that was handed to them as well. And the as I understand it, the letter was kind of an intention to show the commitment of TA to the players, and to kind of strengthen that bond between player and supporters group. Is that right? Am I following along that, training along that correctly?
Yes, that is correct. The idea came from after attending a conference of other supporter groups from all across the country. We met up in Dallas. Cough, cough. Well, actually, Frisco, I should be specific. No, we were in Dallas. Sorry, we were in Dallas. Anyways, we were up there, and we were just getting all sorts of creative ideas. Myself and Pat. Hey, Pat. We were just getting so inspired by listening to everyone put out all these unique and distinct ideas, and this was one of them. In that, hey, it's a neat tradition to place a scarf from your supporter group on the shoulders of the players, either in a formal ceremony or sometimes if you see them anywhere in the city and get a picture with them and things like that. And I was just like, well, how do we do that? And took it upon myself to reach out to who could make that happen within the Dynamo front office, and met the wonderful coordinator, Val, and she made this all happen for us. And yes, as you said, it's with Dynamo players having changes and new faces and new to the city, we just wanted to reestablish ourselves and say, hey, we're here for you, we're here for the city, we're here for Dynamo. And I from what I saw in their faces, I know it was received very positively, and even hearing some chatter afterwards, I don't think I jumped on Twitter, and it was all on Facebook. Is where I was seeing most of the chatter. They were very warm and welcome, as you saw in the video. On the video, they were just holding up their scarves, and I forget which player said it off the top of my head, but he opened up the gift bag, and he was just like, he was laughing because he's like, yes, actual good stuff I can use, because the bag contained a pint glass, a keychain, and awesome. A sticker, because, hey, who doesn't need a keychain and a pint glass? But it's a beverage glass. Anyways, but then the scarf, I think, just kind of added that extra thing, because it's our members would give them the bag and then take the scarf out of the bag, place it on the shoulders, say thank you and things like that. But it was a way to symbolize just this renewing bond, this recommitment that us as a supporter group want to have with our players. And I think it served its purpose, and I want to expand on it, grow it at the beginning of each season. And yeah, it was a start, and I think it went off very well.
It definitely looked like it from the video. I know that it got a ton of traction on Twitter, actually. The video itself, there was a lot of positive reaction. It was one of those things that nobody anticipated or expected to happen. So having it happen and then finding out about it from the Dynamo first and foremost, definitely, I think, it was the type of acknowledgement that shows, I think at least what TA can be, and what supporters group culture can be. And, I think to some extent, I think Sam, you'll agree with me when I say this, but, that's another thing that people can get involved with that aren't currently supporters, that don't require them standing and cheering in the section. Again, it's great. We want people to stand and cheer in the section, but that's not the end all be all when it comes to support. So, there's opportunities, to get involved, all across the board. And whether it's EB or TA or Bayou City Republic, I got it, Sarah. I got it. Or the Stampede, down in RGV. There's opportunities to get involved, opportunities to support the club. And all you got to do is just take them. Well, Sam, thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate it. I'm glad you were able to take some time to do that. We know you've got plenty to work on and do as the season really ramps up this weekend, especially with y'all's kickoff party on Friday, and then the match on Saturday, and then turn around and do it all again on Tuesday, and then turn around and do it all again on Saturday again, because the grind never stops.
It'll happen together. We can do it. Let's go Dynamo.
Let's go Dynamo.
Thank you
for
both.
Sure.
Thank you both for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
For sure. Have a good night, Sam. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. Edson, I wanted to, since we didn't talk about it, because obviously it happened over the weekend. We didn't talk about that TA thing with TA going and giving those gift bags to players. I wanted to get your reaction to that when you saw. Have you seen that video first of all?
I've seen portions of it, yeah. But just the idea of the supporter group taking time out of their already busy schedule to go and form some sort of bond with talking to the players directly, making them known that they are very well supported, that they're there for them, and just give them something, to each individual player, just showing them their support. I think it's just great, and it'll help with players when players come in, and it helps a lot more with our new guys,
yeah,
Struna, Martin Hairston, Tommy Mack. Show that there is a connection between club and fans, that they're gonna be playing for somebody rather than just empty chairs.
Yeah, or they're going to be playing for somebody, and it's somebody specific. It's not just a voice in the stands.
Correct.
You're putting a face to that, to the support, and I think that's huge. And I definitely agree with you on that. And I have a question for you, because I really wanted to ask Sam this before he left, but which Dynamo player do you think was the one that looked at the pint glass and was like, finally, something I can use? Which one do you think it was?
Eric Bird.
I'm thinking it was probably Tommy Mack. Tommy Mack seems like a guy to kick back a few, to say the least. Cisco might be able to possibly share with us who it might have been too. I know he's got some dirt hanging around. But guys, we're going to take another break because, man, this is just rolling right along like nobody's business. We'll be
Holy
back.
Crap, it's already 8:32.
Yes, I told you we're making it 3 tonight. I wasn't even kidding. And technically, Sam wasn't even, a random call. He was a planned call. So if you guys are listening right now, you guys are in the chat, definitely feel free to give us a call, 956-622-5977, 956-622-5977. We'll definitely take your call. Obviously, the topic of tonight, apparently, even though I kind of told Edson this might go this way, is supporters groups and supporters in general. If you have a way that you support that we haven't talked about yet, hey, call us up and tell us what it is. We're definitely game to talk for sure. So let us know. We'll be back in about let's do 5 minutes because I need enough time to grab some water and down some. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. We appreciate it. And again, remember, like the video, share the video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that as well, so you get notifications when we go live. For the next at least 1 week, we will be on Wednesday.
Donation
following that.
Donation link is also available in the description.
yeah, wherever that is, somewhere, I don't know, right in that general area. I don't know, so there, or there. Yeah, go to the donation link if you can. We appreciate it. We know not everybody can do that, but if you can, we appreciate it for sure. That buys me one of those, and it is more delicious than it looks right now because now it's kind of soupy and nasty because it's kind of melted. But guys, thanks for hanging in there. We'll be back shortly.
All right, we'll be back. All right, guys, welcome back to Generation Orange. It is now 8:40, but we still have time. We still have time to talk about a lot. We've been talking about supporters groups for the last couple of minutes. It's been a really good discussion. And
if this was a 2-hour show, we'd be done in 20 minutes. It doesn't feel like 2 hours, dude.
But it's not a 2-hour show.
I know that's why I said if. It's a 3-hour. Well, I mean, it's a 2-hour show if nobody else calls in. With that said, what do we want to talk about? I will admit, work has been chaotic, crazy the last couple of days, and so I've been super busy. What do you guys want to talk about in YouTube chat? Give us a call, 956-622-5977. We already talked about the match a little bit, and we've got a match on Saturday against RSL. Let me ask you guys in YouTube chat, does anybody even care about the RSL match at this point? Like, are we all in on CCL? I mean, I know I am. I'd be perfectly fine with, trotting out a pretty crappy lineup. Mm-hmm. Going all reserves and second teamers. That
was actually one of the topics that I actually wanted to bring up, and that is, if you were Wilmer Cabrera, who would you put against RSL? Would you put in your big guns, or would you put in pretty much the players that played yesterday against RSL, which is pretty much your backups, with a little bit of starters?
So far, it has been very strongly in YouTube chat pointing towards everybody wanting to play the weakest, a pretty weak lineup against RSL. There's Sergio says B team versus RSL. Mm-hmm. I did talk about it, Cisco. I talked about it. Talked about talking to Manny. I talked about it. Unless you're asking for something else about my experience that I don't know about or can't think about at the moment. Look, if the Dynamo missed the playoffs by 3 points and win CCL, who cares? CCL is more important at that point. And I know I'm going to get flack for saying that, but the reality is it's true. Darby says she does care because she's writing about it, but she's also currently suffering from CCL fever. Yeah, I think we're all about CCL fever.
I'm in the same boat.
Oh, so my experience during the game. So I did go stand up in the TA section for the second half. First half, thank you, Cisco. That's why Cisco's around. He keeps me on my toes. First half, I sat with Jeff and Sergio from YouTube chat. Famous YouTube chatters, of course. Famous, of course. One-legged Eric Bird could play RSL. Oh, that's the comment of the night, Sergio. That's fantastic.
Or we can bring in RGVFC. They're playing San Antonio on Friday at San Antonio. We bring them to Houston and have them play
the next day on less than a day recovery and rest. What's up, Eduardo? Man, chat's hopping already. I can't stop watching. It's like a train wreck. You just know it's going to happen, but you can't turn away.
So Tyrell's like, maybe if when Mallorca will finally get minutes.
Oh, that's terrible. By the way, he was in a coat on yesterday. I saw him. So we were walking to our seats. But I was hanging out with Sergio and Jeff for the first half. And let me tell you, man, the people in 226, they are legit fans, man. They do not hold back. They are boisterous. They are loud. They chant. They cheer. It's pretty incredible, actually, what's going on up there. I enjoyed it, definitely. 226. I said 226. I gave you the love for 226. It's amazing. And then the second half, I went over to and sat or hung out, and I didn't sit. Trust me, I did not sit. Stood over in TA, and I kind of put myself where I was right at the aisle right at the aisle next to the aisle between TA and EB. And let me tell you guys, when Morrow scored that first goal, especially after being down a goal and having to score the goal because away goals counted. Well, okay, we were level, so we would have gone to extras. But really wanting to get that extra goal or that goal to kind of just put us in, on the front foot. And when that goal went in, just the eruption of emotion. I yelled like nobody's business. Part of the reason why I have half a voice today. You should have heard me this morning. I had no voice this morning. But I turned in because I was right there on the edge of TA and EV. I had a chance to celebrate with some EV guys, and I had the pleasure, I'll say it that way, of getting an opportunity to hug a guy from EV that I don't even know his name. I didn't catch his name. I have no clue who he is. I think I've seen him once before, but I don't really actually know who he is. And we hugged. And then when we scored the second goal, when Mario scored our second goal, we hugged again. And then another guy came down and hugged me, as we were celebrating. And then when we won, got more hugs. It was really cool because, here's a guy that's coming and standing in the TA section and just that moment of, reaching across the aisle between EB and TA and just, oh yeah, would have gone straight. No. This is CONCACAF. CONCACAF still would have had extra time if I'm not mistaken. Edson can correct me on that. Pretty sure it would have got extra time.
I saw from the Dynamo official account that
it would have gone straight to penalties.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, good. They finally updated that. About time. So it would have gone straight to penalties. It would have been worse. I would have had a heart attack standing there in the section. But the point being, though, that standing where I was, being in that position when we scored that goal, Gabe, you were just dumb. And being able to cross the aisle there and appreciate the moment for what it was. And getting to celebrate with EB members like that. I mean, it really was, to me, it'll stand out in my mind. Oh dude, man-on-man embraces are totally part of the supporters experience. Josh and I hugged, and Josh and I don't usually hug all that often, but I mean, it was legit hugs all around. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty awesome. Everybody loses their mind, and it was amazing. I will add, humorously enough, Darby before at the Darby doesn't want me to share this, I'm sure, but at the pregame for TA, when I don't remember who I hugged. I hugged some. No. We were talking to Pat about hugging or something. Pat will remember this conversation. Maybe, I don't know. He had quite a few beers at that point. But we started talking about oh God. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about, Darby. Where we I can't even speak anymore. Where ultimately Darby said something to the effect of it was the effect. Oh, that's right. It was talking to Bob. And y'all were talking about how ladies in general, specifically Darby and Robin, really appreciate when guys who are secure enough in their masculinity can, truly embrace and hug one another. And so it's funny that I'm thinking about that now, but that's kind of what it reminded me of. Of course, Pat and I hugged like that. It totally not a big deal, but it's like when you're in a sports moment like that, though, and all of everything just goes away. It just completely goes away, and it's just that moment. And it's that moment in time. And it was, I mean, Cisco came over and gave me a hug too. So, I mean, it was during the match. So it was, but I feel like it's just metaphorical of the change that's beginning to happen. And I think it's a positive change. I believe it's a positive change. I believe it can't be anything but a positive change at this point. And it's that, as time goes on, the more that we reach out to one another, the more that we embrace each other as brothers and sisters in arms. Hey, Robin, your timing is phenomenal. We were just talking about guys embracing one another from the pregame conversation you and Darby had at the pregaming with TA at pitch 25. I don't know if Cisco intended it to go this route, but it's going on really different.
Oh no.
So anyways, what we're really talking about though,
it's not Generation Orange After Dark.
Oh no, Edson, no, we're not going there. But seriously though, I mean, it was incredible, and I have
Hi, Robin.
I have to give credit to the guys from EB that crossed the aisle as well. There was no fear, there was no hesitation, no trepidation. It was, we're supporters together. We are. Stop it, guys! You're making it hard for me to keep going. Robin's trying to watch us at work. Oh God, Edson, I think you need to put an NSFW on this segment specifically. Orange to dark orange. It's kind of like what Minor Figueroa's shorts did last night after he slid through the water. They went from light orange to dark orange. I even mentioned it to Jeff and Sergio because it was such a stark contrast when you were looking at him next to Kiki. And Kiki was still dry, relatively speaking. And then you have Minor, whose light orange shirt and dark orange shorts did not go together anymore. God, stop it. Cut it out. No more. This is just going downhill so fast.
Oh man!
This is why
YouTube chat for the win.
This is why YouTube chat is incredible, because you never know what you're gonna get on a week-to-week basis. Wow. But seriously, though, trying to get back to my point, which was
Sarah, I owe you a beer.
Is that it was just a great moment, and it's one that will honestly, genuinely stick with me for years to come. And I think it speaks to, I already said it, it speaks to what's happening. It speaks to kind of the changes that are starting to take place and starting to take shape. But here's the reality of that, though. If I don't if I don't go stand at that spot, if I'm not there, if I'm not making that effort, if I'm not, and I was at that point, I was joining in the EB chants as best I could. I was, loud, and man, I was yelling my voice out at that point. And it wasn't just during the celebration. It was during the chants, trying to do what I could to show my support, just like EB. But if I'm not there doing those things, that moment doesn't happen. That crossing the aisle doesn't happen. So it takes, it's one thing to be a supporter and again, support how you support. That's awesome. But if you have an opportunity and you're capable of doing it and you want to do it, then be present, be there, be the one that stands on the aisle. And when a goal is scored, cross the aisle and hang out with EB and celebrate with EB, celebrate with TA. If you're an EB member, cross the aisle and celebrate with TA people. At the end of the day, and I said it earlier, and I'm going to say it again because it's so important, and I need some people to hear what I'm talking about. We're all supporters of the Dynamo, and that is what has brought us together, and that is what makes us Dynamo fans, and that's what it means to be a Dynamo supporter. It means to be part of this family, part of this brother and sister in arms. Callow. It's all about finding the family. It really is. I'm going to tell a bit of a story here. I've supported the Dynamo, like I said earlier, since about 2006. Off and on. I didn't really get kind of deep into it until about 2008, 2009. I started writing for SB Nation's Dynamo Theory way back when, and became helped managing co-editor with Alicia for a while. And it was a lot of fun, but it was also extremely exhausting because there was so much negativity. I mean, so much negativity out there. And a lot of the negativity was founded. A lot of it had basis in reality, but there was a lot of that negativity that came from a negative perception that then got piled on top of and piled on top of and piled on top of. And it weighed on me, and it's weighed on me. Sarah made the mention that I've been talking about this since 2015, 2016, easily 4 or 5 years now. This is something that's really been part of what I've done and part of why I do what I do and part of why I exhaust myself to the point that I probably should go see a doctor or something. But it's because, God, Darby, shut up. Was that an ESPN alert, Edson?
I think so, yes.
I mean, it has to be because that was the ESPN sound. But, you know, I'm supporting the Dynamo through that and trying to be that kind of, you know, guy and getting involved. And then 2015, when the Dash came around, or was it 2014? 2014 when the Dash came around. No, it was 2015. 14, 15, somewhere around there. When the Dash came around, I had the chance to go and be part of the Dash expansion draft in person. And that was pretty awesome. Got to meet some really cool people. Got a chance to meet Randy Waldrum and kind of hang out with Chris Kennedy in 2014. Thank you, Sarah. And a few other people, and really felt a burning desire to see that the Dash supporters group grow. And unbeknownst to me at the time, Sarah and her group were already working towards building out a supporters group as well. I just got so busy that I didn't have a chance to really follow it through like I had really wanted to and really hoped I could. But Sarah picked it up and ran with it. Cav picked it up and ran with it. And a few others picked it up and ran with it. And what they've built from that is just amazing. I mean, it's not big, but what they've built is passion. What they've built is incredible people, an incredible group that is very open and very welcoming. So fast forward a couple of years, you know, did the Peel for 2 years or for a year and a half. And then Justin and Josh both got busy and then started doing this. And an opportunity arose where I've been able to get involved more and more. And the more I've gotten involved, the more I've realized that at the heart of everything is family. And we're going to piss each other off at times, and that's whatever. But at the end of the day, we're family. And, you know, and I said it earlier, and I was hoping somebody would call in by now. But at the end of the day, I would genuinely, honestly go to bat for anybody that is a Dynamo fan and a Dynamo supporter. And again, support how you support. That's whatever. You know, just what I'm trying to, when I say the heart of it, is that there's a lot of drama that's taken place over the years for various reasons. And I don't even want to, not only do I not want to get into it, I don't even want to think about it right now. I'm not going to cry. Don't worry. That's not a problem right now. But what I do want to say is, as frustrating as that has always been, and being someone who's known about the drama and known probably more than most people think I know about the drama, knowing that the drama should have meant nothing at the time, but meant so much because there were so many people that were hurt by it. People were hurt at the end of the day. People were very hurt by it at the end of the day. And so, you know, hurt feelings hurt people. They hurt more people. And I just feel like we're at that point where everybody's had their chance to kind of grow from their hurt. And so this right now, this season, I genuinely believe this is the season where we start seeing more of that crossing of the aisle, and more of that, you know, working together towards a common goal. And I mentioned it earlier. I'm hopeful that extends beyond just the Dynamo supporters groups, but also extends to the Bayou City Republic, as well as the Stampede to some extent, where we start uniting as far as support and as far as a fan base. We start uniting around each other. You know, I've heard stories, you know, Leo is a perfect example, right? Rip Leo, God, rip Leo. But it has always been his heart, or was always his heart, that he would see a day when Texian Army and EB would squash their beef. And I genuinely believe, and if I'm going to cry, this is when it's going to happen. I genuinely believe we're getting to the point where we may actually see that happen. And you know, some people will say, well, there's not any beef anymore. And you're kind of right, but you're kind of not right. If there's anything that the passing of Leo taught me, let me go this route. If there's anything that the passing of Leo taught me, it's that this life is too freaking short and is not guaranteed. You have an opportunity as a supporter, as a fan of the Dynamo, to make a difference. And that difference does not have to be with, by being specifically in the stands. But here's legit what I've seen a few different times. I've seen people that are hurting for various reasons, whether it's a physical thing or it's a financial thing or whatever it is. But this family, whether it's the EB family or the TA family or the fan family in general, come together around those people. Going back to the Leo thing, when Leo passed away, the fan base, especially the EB and TA groups, man, they came around that family and just loved on them. And there are people in the Dynamo fan base that need this family. And they need us to show that this family is real, that this family is, that we're here to support one another. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what you do for a living, or if you don't do anything for a living, but that, there's people that are willing to, are willing to go to bat for you. It's got to start there, though. It's got to start with us doing the little things, because when we do the little things, that's what opens up people to be able to work together. That's what gets us past whatever that beef in the past was, whatever those frustrations were, whatever those things were that created the hard feelings, created the hurt feelings. That's what gets us past those things. It's those moments when you let yourself go and you're standing next to a guy in EB and you just turn around and you look at each other and you just hug. You have no idea who the guy is and you still don't know who the guy is, but that's what you do. That is spot on right there, Edson. I want you to read that comment. That is everything right there.
We all have our own stories why we are fans. My first experience, the stadium was full. I'm still there. There is an emotional attachment. How do we spread that?
That's the question. How do we spread it? So EB mentioned, or Manny mentioned in his statement that EB has some stuff that they're working on in terms of they're selling their the CD for cancer research at MD Anderson, partnering with them for that to give them some of the profit from those CDs. I know that TA is going to be doing some things throughout the season, embracing Dynamo charities and opportunities to get involved and volunteer. Dynamo Charities, if you're a fan, Dynamo Charities is a great way to get involved. They have Habitat for Humanity that's always going on, and they go do a number of other things, such as work at the food pantry, and just a host of other things that they do too. But there are ways to get involved, and we've talked about the family, but the one thing we haven't talked about is the community that is outside of that family. The first step is the family. We got to deal with what we got to deal with, and we got to unite. But once we unite, we need to be willing to go out into the community to embrace the community as our own. As much as the Dynamo try to do, we have to do it too. And, I'm making the commitment now, and Darby will hold me to this so I can make this commitment on the air. At least once every 3 months, and I know that sounds not very frequent, but it is. Once every 3 months, I'm going to be out at a Dynamo Charities volunteer opportunity, and my goal would be that we would have at least 5 to 10 people from the YouTube chat. Yeah, I'm calling every one of your asses out right now from the YouTube chat, and that includes you, Edson, when possible, to come out and join as well. Because I tell you what, I mentioned earlier, Mike, that I pour out, all of me. I pour out and I get empty. And one of the ways I recharge is by helping other people. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. And the other thing is, it gives us a chance to hang out and get to know one another. I can tell you that, prior to this past season, really like halfway through last season, I had no clue who Sergio or Jeff were, but I've rode to various events with them at this point. I've hung out with them. I've gotten to know them. And genuinely, I mean, they're great guys that I enjoy hanging out with, and am hopeful that we get to do, more crap like that in the near future, for sure, without a doubt. Darby, I did not know Darby before she hopped in. I think Darby, the first time we ever interacted was in YouTube chat. Edson, I didn't know Edson before he moved to Houston.
Oh, that's a complete story as well that I would like to share.
Go ahead. I'll give you the floor. So
I had been following the Dynamo like for a while back, even when I was living in the Rio Grande Valley. And, so I moved here about a year and a half ago, and I got a job here. That's why I moved. I moved in 3 weeks after I moved in. I get broken into. At this point, I barely had known Justin and Josh from the Peel, which is interesting because when I had my first interview at work, the day before my interview, I got to Houston and I had seen that they were going to do a live show at Eighth Wonder. So I went there, and that's how I met them. Through the Peel, I met Sean as well. Little by little, I just became a little bit more involved with this sort of aspect. But fast forward, I get broken into my apartment, and I was like freaking out because it was my first time living in a big city, and right away, I get that happen to me. So I call Sean, and we became roommates, and we started working on Generation Orange down in the valley, and along the way, I just met I met every one of you guys. I met Sean, Justin, Josh, Darby, Pat, Sergio, everybody. Like, I'm gonna be honest. If it wasn't for the Dynamo and everything, and my hobby, like, and I told Josh yesterday, if it wasn't for this, I probably would have just quit. Like, just said, you know what, I'm gonna quit my job, and I just want to go back to the Rio Grande Valley and go back to my, you can call it the safe space. It's not the right term, but it's something that my comfort zone. There it is. But this meeting all of y'all and interacting with y'all, or on social media or at the stadium, it gives me the power to continue to do what I love doing, and that is cover soccer, and give me the motivation for that to kind of spill into my regular day-to-day activities. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to every one of y'all. You guys have been a very, very you guys have inspired me to continue. And even though things may be going tough, gotta keep at it, because that's the only way we can grow as a person.
Yeah. What time is it?
It is 9:08. Just a quick update with CONCACAF Champions League. So today, Santos Laguna defeated Marathon 5-0, aggregate 11-2. New York Red Bulls defeated Atletico Pantoja 3-0, aggregate 5-0. At this moment, we have Monterrey versus Alianza that just started. The aggregate in that match is 0-0. God, I hope Alianza wins.
You just mentioned Red Bulls won, right?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I just saw the tweet come across.
Yeah, 3-0.
But yeah, I mean, look, there's in this day and age specifically, there are plenty of people hurting, and you probably know people that are hurting. So, as a Dynamo fan, show them what it means to be a Dynamo, part of the Dynamo family. It doesn't always result in them joining or not joining, but it doesn't always result in them getting involved or them embracing the beautiful game or anything like that. Sometimes it's just how they're wired. It's, hey, it's cool. Again, support how you support or whatever. But, eventually someone's going to get involved, and now you've got somebody that's, embracing the same stuff you are, and diving in just as deep as you are into the fandom. And Cisco and I, God, Cisco, we met 2013, 2012, maybe even 2011. That was a long time ago. Just randomly met Cisco, and I can tell you that I don't have a lot of friends that are as close as I am with Cisco. That Cisco and I will go hang out outside of Dynamo matches. 2013, you go hang out at Dynamo matches, or outside of Dynamo matches. Last year and the year before that, we went to Katz's probably every home match, after every home match. And so none of us would get home before 1 a.m., especially when I was living out in BFE of Pearland, and you were driving that after, when you were living in Corpus. But what I'm, we go play foot golf every once in a while. We go we've done Top Golf, birthdays and stuff like that. Just all kinds of stuff. We got friends that are about to have a baby. Congrats, Jason and Angie, when that does take place soon, hashtag soon. But it's just like, I look back at the last, Cisco says 2013. I look back at the last, 5 years from 2013, well, I guess 6 years now. 6 years from 2013. And I think about how my life has been impacted, and how my life has changed because of all of those guys. And, most of them don't even come into this chat. They don't watch the show, and I don't have a problem with that. That's fine, because they're friends. But, it's just, again, these are people that I met through being Dynamo fans that have taught me what it means to be family through the highs and the lows. And there have been lows. And to celebrate together, to embrace each other, during celebration, but also to use that to be there when people are struggling and people need somebody to lean on. And life is full of ups and downs. Life is not going to be a cakewalk, no matter who you are, no matter how much money you have, no matter how great a job you have, how great a family you have. It's going to be full of ups and downs. And family, Dynamo family or otherwise, family is what gets us through it. We all need friends. We all need people that'll be there. We all need people that'll be there when we're sick and dying in bed, and will tell us not to come to a watch party because we'll get everybody else sick. I don't know if that rings a bell for you, Pat, but it's just, I hope it's gotten across through this show, because I genuinely believe that we're at that kind of, that point where the fan base has a chance to take that leap of faith and move forward and grow together as a family, and grow together in community and as a community, and become something, become more than the fan base has ever been, which is moving towards that direction of becoming a united front, and I don't mean a wall of orange necessarily, but I mean every fan in the stadium yelling "Dolly Dolly Dynamo" or yelling "Let's go Dynamo." Yeah, Pat may be a little tired. He's had a long day, and had one yesterday. But that's what I want to see. That's what I want to hear. Jeff made the comment last night while we were sitting in the stands, and Guastatoya fans were saying "Si se puede," and it was loud and rocking. And how amazing that would be to have that happen with Dynamo fans. It doesn't have to be "Si se puede," of course, but something that is so loud that it shakes the very, it shakes everybody. It sticks with everybody. That kind of thing. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. Thanks, Edson. Way to ruin the moment. I'm just kidding. But that's what I want to see. I want to see a stadium that's lit, that's excited. I want that atmosphere that we had during this Lawton match, man. I want that on every match. I want that on a Tuesday night at 9:30 in the evening at night. I want it when we've waited 4 hours for a rain delay. The match doesn't kick off till 11:30. God forbid.
I want to see what we saw in Monterrey yesterday. I want that here in the United States. It's just when people from other teams go and visit, I want that even though we're not really like threatening or anything, but I want that just the passion that transmits from fans to players to not only what's the word I'm looking for, but to make them feel like holy crap, like get them scared, from how the stadium roars. If you guys watch videos, it's just incredible. Like when everybody says a chant in unison, how it echoes through the stadium. It's just something beautiful, and I wish we could get that at BBVA Compass Stadium. But it's going to take small steps to get from where we're at right now to having consistent sellouts at BBVA Compass Stadium, and it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, for sure. And when a stadium is rocking like that, where it's so loud that the away support just quiets because they can't help but be immersed in the experience too. When that happens, players hear it, players feed on it, and it just pushes that home advantage to the next level. Yeah, and the Guastatoya chant wasn't even wasn't even a full. It was just the Guastatoyans that were there, and there weren't that many Guastatoya fans at that point in the stadium, but it was loud, and it and maybe it was just where we were sitting, but it echoed, man, and it was very jarring to hear it. Oh yeah, the atmosphere for the World Cup for the Western Conference Finals against Seattle in 2017. Yeah, absolutely, I remember that. But guys, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take one more break because nobody's calling in. Y'all slackers. Nobody's calling in because nobody obviously has anything to talk about. Wait, chat's been rolling for how long now? 2.5 hours. Yeah, y'all don't have anything to talk about. But seriously, if anybody calls in, we'll go 3. Otherwise, we'll cut at 9:30 and call it a night. And don't think I won't be happy to go get a chance to kick back and not do anything for 30 minutes, which I, would like to get 30 minutes back. I remember those paper airplanes as well. I remember when Ching retired and seeing all the orange and black, cards that were held up and how cool that was. Or all the 25 cards that were held up and how cool that was. I want to see these cool things and I want them to happen, but they're not going to happen if we just say we want them to happen. They're only going to happen if we get involved as fans, if we help grow things as fans, if we do our part. So I said I said we were going to stop here, but I'm going to keep going for a little bit. This all stems from one of the things that Jay Adelberg has said repeatedly on the show, talking about the circle of suck. We could get trapped in that circle of suck. We can get trapped in that black hole that just draws everything in of despair and disappointment and sadness. Or we can, pull ourselves out and try to make the best of the situation. And, Dynamo win or lose, I'm going to support them regardless. And I hope you guys feel the same way. And, I think it's on us to be more engaged as fans. I think it's on us to be, more supportive in terms of just doing and getting more involved with whatever, again, if you're upset with the Dynamo front office, cool, go get involved with the Dash, go get involved with the Bayou City Republic, go get involved with the Stampede. You don't have to just do it with the Dynamo. There's other opportunities, but get involved because once you're involved, you're going to be a passionate fan. You really are. I mean, there's just no choice. So, you know, that's what I want to get across tonight is get involved, because it will change you. It will make you better. You will enjoy yourself. You know, and if you're on the cusp, if you're on the fence about whether you want to do it or not, maybe this is what you need. But do it, because you're going to come out of it at the end of it a better person overall. And you have an opportunity to be part of this change that there's no doubt is starting to take place. You can see it in a lot of places right now. The change is starting to happen. Now's your opportunity to kind of be part of that and be part of that momentum and be part of that change. God, I feel like Obama right now. Hope and change. But seriously, I mean, that's what it comes down to at this point. You know, it's about the change, and you're either part of it or you're not. And I want you to be part of it. If you're watching the show, you obviously are, you know, a fan enough to want to talk or listen to people talk about the Dynamo. So you want to be part of the change, whether you realize it or not. So be part of the change. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll kind of wrap up. I don't know if Edson wants to do a DITV Express, but maybe we'll do that, and then we'll call it a night.
All right, we'll be back in just a little bit. Give us about 3.5 minutes, but we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of Generation Orange.
Unless somebody calls in,
right?
That can still happen. 956-622-5977. All right, let's go to break.
All right. Guys, welcome to Down in the Valley Express. So this week we're going to be talking about the match that happened this past Saturday against Austin Bold FC. If you guys were not able to watch last week's episode, we had not only did we have Mayra Olivares, the director of sales at RGVFC and RGV Vipers. We talked about season tickets. We talked about what they're working on to make the experience, the value better for fans, which has worked. Thankfully, I've heard of a couple of people that were convinced to buy season tickets after that. We also talked about a couple of different things. For example, there is going to be a jersey reveal in the next coming days for RGVFC, as well as we also had Kit McConico from the throw-in in Austin, Texas, to talk about Austin Bold. And then on Saturday, we had RGVFC versus Austin Bold, where thank you, Cisco. I really appreciate it. It was really good. It came out better than I expected. But during the match at the Bold against the Bold, I felt a little bit underwhelmed by what the Bold brought. I mean, I was told that, they dominate possession, they are very attacking oriented, and come to this match and you just see RGV at times dominate the ball, dominate the chances. It was rare when the Bold actually had a decent chance on goal. The final score was 3-1. We'll be discussing that tomorrow. We'll be discussing as well the upcoming friendly against San Antonio this Friday at 1 p.m. in San Antonio. And hopefully we can get more info from what's going on with our RGBFC front office leading up to the season opener, which will be March 9th at Tacoma. And then our home opener will be March 16th against Fresno FC. But yeah, if you guys, like I said, if you guys have not seen that previous episode from last week, be sure to check it out whenever you can. There was a lot of good topics that were touched up upon regarding with our RGVFC, and I hope you guys could learn a little bit more about what's going on with the Toros. I mean, it's just like Coach Cabrera said on Saturday at the post-game interview, which, by the way, is on our YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out. Audio has been fixed, so if you guys, those watching on mobile, should be able to listen to it now. But he did say that he wants this team, he wants the Toro players, coaching staff, front office, he wants them to know how important they are to the Dynamo system. And I think it's something that has been overlooked by fans, has been overlooked by the media here, has been overlooked by, I guess, the way some people inside of the organization view RGVFC. They don't see, it seems they never understood how important RGVFC Toros is to the long-term future of this organization. And I think how Coach Cabrera and Coach Echeverri are working together, and how Paul Holliker coming in and working with the academy, making sure that both teams get good products coming out of the academy to use. All of that is working together. I know John Walker I'm pretty sure is kind of helping RGVFC in one way or another, change the way the front office works with the experience with the fans. So it's important to understand what's going on down in the valley, shameless plug, But I hope you guys also appreciate what the Toros players and the commitment that they have and how hungry they are. Even though you might not see it every week, you might not see a match every week, but at least you can see, that they are hungry, that they don't want to stay at RGV. They want to come and play for the Dynamo. We talked to Chuy Enriquez last season. He he mentioned when they came to me, they told me Houston Dynamo was interested. And he was extremely hyped up about that. He was extremely hyped. That's the reason why he chose RGVFC over LA Galaxy 2, was not only the facilities but also the ability to move up to the first team, to the Houston Dynamo. They had a better project from what he was told between both organizations. He felt that the Toros and the Dynamo had a better project and a better fit for him compared to what LA Galaxy and you got to consider that Chuy is from California. His family is in California. So the fact that he took this leap to come to a completely different state, like halfway across the country to play for the Toros, it just shows something like that, the plan that is being built between the Toros and the Dynamo. So anyways, so that's all I have for today's Down in the Valley Express. So let's get back to Generation Orange. All right. There's Sean.
Am I? I don't.
Yes, you are.
I've got the YouTube video up. I'm still waiting for. There I am. I'm there. Hi. Yeah. I mean, I also want to give you guys a shout out real quick as well. Being added to the Twitter list from the official USL account as relevant media. That's pretty awesome, guys. Very proud of the work you guys are doing over at DITV, for sure. And there's, there's a lot to be said for knowing what RGV means to the Dynamo over the long term. There's 3, 4, 5 players coming in the next, couple of seasons that are going to end up at RGV at some point. And the Dynamo have pegged them all to be future Dynamo players, possibly even Dynamo starters. So there's a huge opportunity, very soon to see the future of the Dynamo. I am curious to see, is Eric McHugh down at RGV right now practicing, preparing for the season?
He was, if I recall correctly, he was with the Toros this past Saturday. So yes. Cool.
Because I do think, the more time he gets with the Toros, the better. So
we had Eric McHugh, we had Samuel Adams, we had Sam Junkwa and Brad Dunwell, all there playing, and they looked really good, honestly.
And isn't that incredible? I mean, that's an influx of 4 or 5 players from the off season. Yeah. Remember how many I said you guys were going to get?
Yes.
From the off season that have a chance to be impact players for you guys, and that only spells good things. Again, once the Dynamo got to a point, and I've said it on DITV repeatedly, but the Dynamo had to get to a point where they had the depth themselves already worked out, so that they could then get depth and then get the right players for RGV. And I think we're seeing it now at RGV, where this season, again, we talked about it last season with RGV, but this season even more so, where the ceiling for RGV this season is pretty dang high. And, it's going to be a little bit of, you're going to kind of have some bumps here and there, but at the end of the day, RGV is going to be a pretty darn hard team to beat this season. And both offensively and defensively. Go ahead.
And I know it's preseason, and I mentioned sometimes, you can't really take, you have to take preseason results with a grain of salt. But this match against the Bold, this was against, like Hit McConico said, this is the team that has spent the most money in the USL for this season, was in regards to transfers and regards to salaries. We talked about with the Houston Dynamo how that really doesn't really matter once you're on the pitch, and it showed with this match that even with cheaper players, The Toros had more cohesive. They played more cohesively. They were able to dominate the bold, and it's like Coach Echeverry said. The key here, it's not really about the players, but the experience that they got last year. He said, he said last year we barely had like 4 or maybe even 5 players that had a little bit of pro experience, and this year most of our players have this year under their belt. And so that's proved, that proved the big difference going up against, the big guy, big players with Austin Bold that have a lot more experience playing in USL, playing with the best leagues. In the case of Dario Conca being in his time, he was the 3rd most highest paid player in the world behind Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. But the difference is the chemistry isn't there. You can have the best players. I mean, just look at Real Madrid, how utter crap they are, because there's a rift going on, and you have that. You can't really do much, even if you have the best players in the world. So the experience and how I feel like the players, from what I've seen from their Instagrams, the RGV players have formed a bond within each other. And that helps out a lot. And I have seen, like, for example, Chuy Enriquez has formed a friendship with Ronaldo Peña and Kyoto. So that kind of like keeping them in touch between players of the first team and the Toros, I think it's going to help out a lot as well.
No, absolutely. I mean, that can only spell really good things over the long haul. And again, it's the future of the Dynamo in some way, shape, or form. It may not be the best players on the Dynamo are coming from RGV, but it's going to be the players that are going to be your Memo Rodriguez, your Kevin Garcias, your players that come in that provide that depth, that allows the Dynamo to spend money wisely elsewhere on your Alberto Lises, on your Mauro Manotas', on your Romel Kyotos, on your Kiki Strunas, on your Matthias Veras, on your Juan David Cabezas. It's important that we support that as Dynamo fans, that we support RGV as well, and show the Dynamo that we understand what they're trying to do, and that we do, we believe that that's a viable option, that over the years that'll pan itself out.
And I know that the distance between RGV and Houston is a lot, and I am not expecting Houston fans to make the trip down to RGV to watch a game. I go almost every 2 weeks, and it's physically tiring for me to make that long of a drive, But at least keep up with what's going on down there. Look at the occasional game and kind of see, hey, you know what? This player and this player might actually be good to move up to the Dynamo, so that by the time they get here, a little bit of how they play, what they tend to do, and it'll be easier for the fans to kind of accept them into the Dynamo system, which is another thing that I feel, and I've said it many times, I feel that's what's lacking right now with the Dynamo fan base, is that since they don't care about RGV for the most part, they have no idea who these players are. When they get here, they're like, okay, who the hell are these guys? And oh, he's probably not good because we didn't buy him, or they look for any little detail to say that he's not good.
So what you're saying is it's the Kevin Garcia effect.
Yes.
I agree. I do. And I agree because we've talked about it numerous times. I do believe that for many players that are going to come from RGV, their ceiling is is going to be talent-wise that kind of super sub role or that reserve role. But the Dynamo need those players. They need those players that are MLS level subs or MLS level reserves, because at the end of the day, that's what you need for injury depth. You can't field an MLS a full roster of 23 players plus extra reserves, which usually ends up being about 5 to 10 players. You can't field that many starters. There's not a single team in MLS that has that many starters. Now, there isn't at Liga MX, and that team is Tigres. but there's not an MLS because of the way that the roster rules and budget and everything are structured. So it's very difficult. It's very difficult for the Dynamo to build without having those depth players getting time developing somewhere else. You know, and so we need to remember that as fans, and we need to embrace those players when they come up. We need to not be picking them apart because they don't do everything right the moment they get into the Dynamo, into the lineup. I mean, for Kevin Garcia, he was thrust into the lineup because we had no choice. You know, was he ready to be put in that position? Not at outside back, but that's not his fault. There was no choice. He just happened to be one of the few players we had on the roster at outside, you know, that could at least play outside back. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, it's as much us supporting RGV from a player development standpoint, you know, and supporting the RGV, like I said, supporting the Stampede and supporting the RGV fan base, because there has been in the past, and Edson will attest to this, a discontent with the relationship between the Dynamo and RGV Toros.
Correct.
And I believe, as much as I believe that, you know, that positive change can happen by, you know, by people getting involved and getting engaged, I think the same could be true about extending offers of support and help to, you know, to the Stampede and to the RGV fan base. You know, Jay mentioned that he had been asked to go down to RGV to talk to some of the RGV front office staff about sales. And that is the same kind of thing that can happen. You know, the Stampede can reach out to members of TA or EB or whatever, and you know, get some information on how to, you know, help foster that growth, help foster that passionate mentality. Now, don't get me wrong, there's plenty of opportunities there in the Valley for them to do that as well, with Monterey just right down the road, really, and other Liga MX teams not far away, and a lot of their fan base coming from that culture. But that's not the only thing that, you know, that's available to them. And so I hope that if anybody from RGV is listening, or even San Antonio, Harry, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, you know, that, you know, yeah, maybe you're not a Dynamo fan, but, you know, you're a fan of soccer in Texas. And, you know, the more we grow the Dynamo fan base and the Dash fan base and kind of this local Houston soccer fan base, the more that grows outward, the more that becomes concentric circles that continue to expand outwards. And the more that does, the more influence the Dynamo have, the more influence the fan base has on the south eastern region of Texas, the Houston area, and then Texas, you know, from a soccer standpoint, and ultimately the U.S. You know, I am sick and tired of KC and the Northwest and the Northeast being the hotbeds of soccer in this country. I want it to be Texas, and I've heard in the past that, you know, Texas just can never be that soccer hotbed. You know, and I think a lot of that is just due to, and I'm going to be very honest and very blunt, and I hope it doesn't turn anybody off. If it does, please feel free to correct me, but an apathetic fan base that has just been jaded and been tired. And, you know, if we can get engaged, and we can get engaged at the grassroots level, you know, this doesn't need to be something the Dynamo spur on. It's something we can do ourselves. If people get involved, I mean, if people that show up to Dynamo matches, the, you know, 700, 800, a couple thousand that show up to every Dynamo match, if they all got involved, even if it's not just the supporters group, but just got involved and got volunteering, we could do some seriously good things. I mean, think about those numbers. Just 1,000 people, 1,000 people is all it's going to take to change what's going on with the Dynamo. We're seeing it on the pitch. And, you know, Darby said this elsewhere, and I'm going to repeat it because I think it's really super great. The front office right now are making the efforts and showing that they are listening. Are we as a fan base going to pay that back fully and say, we want you to know you making the effort means we're going to turn around and make the same effort. We have always said as a fan base, because the front office doesn't make the effort, we're not going to make the effort. Now that the front office is, are we going to put our actions where our words are, or are we going to continue to sit on our butts and not do anything? And so I think this is the perfect ending for this show for tonight. It doesn't hurt that it's 9:45 and my voice is getting about to that point where I need to go. Darby, you are. Don't kid yourself. You are. But at the end of the day, the front office are making the changes. They're adding fans in the east and the west, overhangs over the stadium seats. They're doing this happy hour thing for beers and food and stuff. I mean, they're being proactive to what fans are talking about. They replaced the speakers in the concourse to make the music and sound vibe better throughout the concourse. They're doing what they can. At the end of the day, if they're making the effort and they're reaching out across the aisle, remember I said this about TA and EB, if the front office is reaching across the aisle, is it not now on us to do the same back to them? So be empowered, be inspired, be whatever you want to call it, but get involved and get engaged and go out there and do something. Go let the front office know that you appreciate it. Go tell the Houston Dynamo Twitter account you appreciate it. Go tell the Houston Dynamo Facebook account you appreciate the work the FO is doing. Look, it's not perfect. It's not great. There's still a long way to go, but it has to start somewhere. Somebody has to be the first one to say, I'm done with all the crap. Let's move on past it and let's move forward. And let's be the ones to do that, because it starts here. It starts now. Truly, it's already started. You're either on it or you're not. End of the day, that's what it comes down to. Got anything to add to that, Edson, before we call it a night?
No, I think that's pretty much it. You think you hit it right on the head. It's our turn. It's our turn. The front office has already contributed to getting out of the circle of suck. It's our turn to do our part.
Look, they've passed us the ball. We're standing in front of the freaking goal. We only have to beat the keeper. Are you going to be the one to take the shot, or are you going to pass it off to somebody else? All right, guys, that's it for Generation Orange tonight. This is a perfect analogy to end on. That's it for Generation Orange tonight. We are your co-hosts, Sean Ringrose and
Edson Ochoa.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. We hope you guys definitely got something out of tonight. If you haven't, if you came in late, go ahead and rewatch the rest of the show. Hashtag do our part. There you go, Edson. We got a hashtag. I like it. So thanks for tuning in. If you guys are watching this later, do us a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and make sure you let everybody know that something's going on and they want to get involved for sure. So hit us up if you have questions or you want to chat more about this. It's real. It's our thing. Let's do it.
Be sure to follow our social media on Twitter at Gen Orange Radio and on Facebook.com/Gen Orange Radio.
Oh, yeah, and there are big things coming very soon, I promise. Keep your eyes peeled.
All right, guys. Have a good night. We'll see each other next week. Take care.
Carried you home, taking all the weight off your shoulders. Now we're long gone, rolling into 1 year older. It's funny how our love began when I was sober. Now I stumble in a room where nobody else can.